Bunch of weak black men in America, homie, who read a bunch of books, but the books and the knowledge that they read, it don't manifest in none of their lives. They talk that Hebrew, we this, we that. Show us, nigga. Stop making movies. Stop sounding poetic and intelligent. Come show us who we are. Tired of motherfuckers telling us who we are. Because based on our actions, we ain't none of that shit they talking, my nigga. We ain't none of that shit they talking. And I don't want to be a part of nothing that cursed me 2,000 years ago. As good as my mother was, homie. As good as our ancestors was as slaves. Nigga, them people never became hateful. So you mean to tell me whatever God these motherfucking Hebrews serve, that God is still punishing black children from something 2,000 years ago? Why are black Hebrews the only one with this knowledge and saying it's the 12 tribes of Judah? You don't hear Mexicans saying that shit? You don't hear Puerto Ricans? You don't hear Dominicans? Why are these dumbass American black people the only ones saying this, my nigga? But they can't show us. Show us who we are, nigga. Because we don't believe it by you telling us. When we go online and see what we see. When you niggas won't stand up to the industry. You niggas won't stand up to the Jewish-ran industry that's promoting, propagating, glorifying, pushing detriment and destruction by way of lyrical content. And if you believe that Bible, you know rapping, nigga, is the greatest force of a demonic force known to man. If you believe that Bible, Hebrew, I don't believe nothing you can read, homie, about God. I don't believe nothing you can read about God. How you gonna tell me about God something you, me, or now motherfucker talking have ever seen or spoke to? How you gonna tell me about God based on your personal comprehension? Everything that a preacher preaches, everything that a religious leader speaks out of his mouth is based on their own personal reading comprehension. I don't believe that a man is telling me about a God. Show me a Jesus. Show me a Prophet Muhammad. Show me a Gandhi. Show me a motherfucker that can't read but that can write a Quran. Show me. Show me a motherfucker that can raise the dead. Don't tell me about a motherfucker. Show me. My mama showed me. My mama showed me a God to hold on to. So, nigga, if you can't show me what my mama showed me, nigga, if you can't love me unconditionally like my mother does according to how they say God love us, you can't tell me about no motherfucking God, mother. You can't love me unconditionally like you say God do, but my mother does. So whatever God that woman tell me about, that's the God I want. Because she done showed me. The Hebrew niggas can't show us, my nigga. Show us this power, nigga, in numbers. In the community, not at that white boy stadium. Come to the community, nigga, when a nigga kill a nigga, and show us 200 niggas. Stand around the family that's burying somebody, nigga, and show me 200 niggas and cry with them people, nigga. An NBA player. A scare-ass NBA player that got to do like every other nigga, including them niggas, who take off on their job, nigga, and submit to their coward nature when they clock in at work. Because they ain't talking Hebrew on the job. They ain't talking Hebrew on the job. They ain't asking for Hebrew religious rights on the job. Develop a Hebrew church, nigga, that's bigger than the Jew church. Other than that, man, these niggas just talking, homie. And I don't want my God coming from no book, and I don't want my God coming from no man telling me about a weak black man in America, homie, who read a bunch of books. But the books and the knowledge that they read, it don't manifest in none of their lives. Talk that Hebrew, we this, we that. Show us, nigga. Stop making movies. Stop sounding poetic and intelligent. Come show us who we are. Tired of motherfuckers telling us who we are. Because based on our actions, we ain't none of that shit they talking, my nigga. We ain't none of that shit they talking. And I don't want to be a part of nothing that cursed me 2,000 years ago. As good as my mother was, homie. As good as I am.
All right, Shalom. Before I start, I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Wakakodash. Yahweh, which is the one true name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one true name is Yahweh Shai. Bahashim, meaning coming in the name. Ba means coming in. Ha means the. Sham means name. Rakah meaning spirit. Kodash meaning holy. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And shalom to you, sincere brothers that are scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to you, sincere sisters that are listening in silence, as the scriptures command you to do so. I am the brother Mashiach Razakah from Prophets of Good Works Camp, Las Vegas, Nevada. And double honors to the elders of the elect of the house of David. And pretty much this is just a response to Charleston White. Now, he had a lot of spawns of come to the hood, show us, show me. We're not those people that's in the Bible. He said a lot of points here and there, but my main point is what he said when I just paused the video. He said that he don't want to be a nation that was cursed. Okay, and that's what we're going to go into. Okay, the reason why we were cursed as a people is because we swore an oath to the Heavenly Father that we would keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. But we transgressed the Lord's covenant. Okay, when you go into the meaning of the word covenant there, it means an oath or a treaty. We signed an agreement that we would keep the Lord's statutes and commandments. And due to us disobeying that, the Lord put us into captivity. The Lord put us in a punishment of captivity because we got to worshiping other gods. We started following and mimicking the ways of the other nations, which the Lord forbidden us to do. Okay? And what we did as a people was unrighteous in the eyes of the Lord. So the Lord, he discontinued us from our heritage and he scattered us throughout the four corners of the earth. And it wasn't just one time that we broke the Lord's covenant. We did it many times. When you go in the book of Judges, we were on point, then we wind up being wicked. Then the next generation was righteous. Then that next generation was being wicked. Then that next generation was being righteous. Then that next generation was being wicked. So we were on point one generation. Then the next generation will fall off. Then that next generation will get back on point. And that next generation will fall off. We kept doing that over and over and over and over again till the Lord got fed up. And he was like, you know what? You guys want to be like the heathen? You guys want to keep following the heathen? I'm going to give you to the heathen. And that's what the Lord did. The Lord gave us to the heathen. So now, in this present time of this last captivity, because we're in the iron and clay period, right? We passed the Babylonian, which was the head of gold. We're past the Medo-Persian Empire, which was the silver. We're past the brass, which was the Greek Empire, right? We're past the Roman Empire, which is the iron. Now we're in the revival of the Roman Empire, which is the divided kingdoms, which is that iron and clay. That's the time that we're in right now. This is the last captivity. Okay, there's no other captivity after this. So, we're still under those curses, but the Lord, he's getting ready to uplift those curses off of us. Okay, and this is why we're going to receive those promises. Okay, that's mentioned in Romans 8:17. Right, we're going to be joint heirs with the Lord and glorified there, because right now we're rejected and despised by men. As you can see, Charleston White is a perfect example, and that's just one video that I showed. But when I go on TikTok, I could put in a gang of videos. There's so many people that despises and reject us as the prophets, as the men of the Lord. They believe we're false prophets. They believe that we're not the men of the Lord. They mainly just call us a hate group because how we speak about Esau, Edom. So they have this big agenda that we're a hate group, and we're not. We don't hate nobody. Okay, all we're doing is telling you who you. Now the Lord does hate you, so we hate you with a righteous hate according to what the Lord has against you. But us as a people, we don't just, you know, should I say, just go around, because you know, you got some people putting us towards the KKK. The KKK is going around burning shit, destroying shit, and hanging people. We're not doing any of that. Where have you seen a Hebrew Israelite go around and hang people? We ain't doing none of that. The KKK, they went around hanging people, burning people alive, raping women, hanging black women, cutting women that are, that are pregnant, cutting their stomachs open, a whole lot of stuff. We ain't doing those things. We're just warning and telling you who you are. So we're gonna, do this video for edification purposes of the curse, because my main thing is what Charleston White said. He said about being cursed, right, in his video. He said he don't want to be a nation that's cursed, but he failed to realize why we are cursed. Okay, why we're under the curses, because we did not keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. So the first scripture I want to get is Deuteronomy. Exodus 19 and 5. Salakia. Exodus 19 and 5. Now listen to this. Okay, this is when we swore oath to the Lord to keep his covenant, right? It says, "Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine." It says, "And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel." You see that this is what the Lord was saying unto Moses, right? Verse 7. "And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded them." Okay. So Moses was speaking to the Lord. The Lord spoke unto Moses, told Moses to tell the congregation of Israel, the people of Israel, to keep his covenant. This was, that word covenant means an oath, to keep his oath. Okay, his agreement. We signed an agreement to tell the Lord that we would keep his commandments. And Moses is speaking unto the people right here with the elders. Verse 8, "And all the people answered together and said, All that the Lord hath spoken, we will do." So we promised and swore a covenant and made an oath with the Lord that we would keep his commandments. All right. "And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord." That's what happened. So we swore an oath to the Lord that we would keep his laws and statutes and commandments. We swore an oath to the Lord that we would do that. Right. Deuteronomy 28:13. I got another precept. Now listen to this. "And the Lord shall make thee the head." See, so if we kept the laws and statutes and commandments, we would be on top today. We would be ruling right now if we didn't transgress and break the old covenant. Us people, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that are the true Hebrew Israelites today, if our forefathers wouldn't have transgressed and broken the old covenant, we would be ruling right now. We would be on top. But we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We broke that oath. So now we're at the bottom. Now we're the tail, and the heathen is the head. But this was what the Lord promised to us if we would obey his commandments. "And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail." You see that? If we would have kept the commandments, right? "And thou shalt be above only." You see that? It says, "And thou shalt not be beneath." It says, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy power, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them." You see that? So if we would have kept the laws, the statutes, and commandments and obeyed as what the Lord commanded, we wouldn't have been at the bottom. You see that? We wouldn't have been cursed. We wouldn't have been at the bottom. Okay? Now I'm gonna read this because Charleston White said he don't want to be a nation that is cursed. But this is to prove that Israel was suffering the curses, and we're still suffering the curses for not keeping the Lord's commandments, the laws, statutes, and commandments. It says, according to biblical narrative, this isn't made up. According to biblical narrative, ancient Israel experienced periods of curses or severe divine disciplinary due to covenant unfaithfulness, right? Not keeping the Lord's commandments, breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Disobeying God's laws, right? Adopting the idolatrous practices of surrounding nations and committing social injustice led to these consequences, right? Worshiping other gods, right? Mimicking and following the way of the heathen. That's what led to us to be cursed as a nation. Okay? That's what caused us to be cursed as a nation. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And that's what happened. We broke the old covenant. We transgressed the Lord's covenant. All right? Judges 2:20, to prove what I just said. We transgressed the Lord's covenant. That's what caused us to be cursed. And we just read it, went into Google. Judges 2:20. This is to back myself up. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people have transgressed my covenant. We broke the old covenant. We transgressed the covenant. How do we break the old covenant? Not keeping the laws and statutes and commandments. Right? It says that this people have transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice. So this is why we're at the bottom today. Okay, we didn't keep the Lord's statutes and commandments. We transgressed and broke the old covenant. We swore oath. Remember, we went to Exodus 19. We swore oath to the Heavenly Father that we would keep his commandments and we would do them. We wouldn't break them. We would do what he asked and swore. We swore this oath unto him. Due to us doing that, we transgressed the covenant, and that's when the Lord put those curses on us. So we're cursed today for disobedience. Okay? So Deuteronomy 28:43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Now these are the curses that came upon us for breaking the laws and statutes and commandments. So see, the stranger, this is talking about the heathen, they're going to be above us. And we're going to be brought very low. Verse 44, and he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt lend to him. Right? He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So we're at the bottom because we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. The 17 heathen nations are ruling over us. And Charleston White, you also said, why we're not going over there to them Ashkenazis over there and doing this and doing that. First off, the Ashkenazis is ruled. They're the Amalekites. They're Esau, Edom, right? Esau's blessing was what? The inheritance of the fatness of the earth. That was his blessing, right? The inheritance of the fatness of the earth, right? So Esau, he's in our land, right? He's claiming to be us, but he's not really us. That's why the Lord, when he comes back, he's gonna take all them filthy heathens out of our holy land, and he's gonna put us there. He's gonna destroy this wicked kingdom that we're in right now, and the Lord's going to deliver his elect. He's going to come back, deliver his elect, right? The scriptures mention how beautiful Israel is going to be when you go to Deuteronomy, the 21st chapter, right? It talks about how the kingdom is going to be, right? It talks about that new Jerusalem, which that's the elect, right? It talks about Israel being a bride unto her husbandman, which the bride is Israel, right? The elect, that's that bride there. Right? And that husbandman, that's Yahweh Shai. Right? And it goes into how high the cupids are going to be in the kingdom. Right? The Lord talks about how he's going to take away our tears. He's going to wipe away our tears. Right? We should not be in sorrow anymore. Roughly paraphrasing. It talks about how 12 angels are going to be at 12 gates. Read Revelation 21. It talks about how the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. How the kingdom is going to look. How far wide it's going to be. How high it's going to be. What's going to be there. It talks about the jewels. It talks about how the elect is going to have that aura vibration on them. So right now, yeah, we're in a low estate, right? We're in a oppressed estate. We're at the bottom right now. We're suffering these curses, but the curses is going to be lifted up off of us. Okay, so even though we're cursed right now and we're at the bottom and we're going through all these hardships, and hey, that's the Lord building you up and preparing you for the things that are to come on the other side. So yes, you may be suffering here. We may be going through finance issues severely. We may be charged with all these bills, right? We're struggling to make it every day. We're going through all these curses, dealing with our ex demons, in this excuse my mouth, bull crap system that we're in, right? We're working these jobs, they're working us to death, man, right? These are the curses that we're under. We're dealing with spiritual and physical attack, right? We're dealing with a lot of stuff. We're oppressed heavily, man, right? But this is all of the curses of our forefathers, what they've done in the past, which we are our forefathers reincarnated. So we're suffering all of these afflictions and turmoils that we committed in the ancient world, which we shouldn't have done, right? But we did it. So now we're suffering all these curses. But this is just temporal. This isn't forever. This is temporal. Getting back to this, Deuteronomy 28:44, and it says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. And you see that? So the heathen nations are the ones that's ruling over us today. All right. Got another precept, Deuteronomy 11:26. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. So we have blessings and curses as Israelites. Okay. Deuteronomy 11:27. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your power. You see, that's the blessing which I command you this day. Verse 28. And a curse if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your power, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known. And those are the curses. We worship in false idols, false deities. We're embedded in false doctrines, right? And that's what's going on with Israel. Majority of our people don't believe that they Israelites. They have all these different beliefs. And Charleston White even said he don't even believe in the Bible. So he's through. He don't believe in the Bible, right? He just said in the video he don't believe there's a God. He don't believe there's a Bible. He said he believe in a God. He's confused. How you gonna say you believe in a God what your mom believes in, but you don't believe in the God that we worship and serve? See, Charleston White is confused. He don't know, right? He's a double-minded man. He's a double-minded man. All right. And it says, verse 28, and a curse if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your power, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known. And those are the curses that's upon us. Our people are walking out here with the spirit of slumber, right? Which can go to Romans 11:7, Salakia. Our people have the spirit of slumber. And that's what's upon our people. That's why they're not getting it. That's why they're speaking against it. They just don't get it, man. Okay. Jeremiah 17:1. Now I want to read this because Charleston White, he said in his video, right? Let's go back real quick what he said. He said in the video, this is what he said.
A bunch of weak black men in America, homie, who read a bunch of books. But the books and the knowledge that they read, it don't manifest in none of their lives. They talk that Hebrew, we this, we that. Show us, nigga. Stop making movies. Stop sounding poetic and intelligent. Come show us who we are. Tired of motherfuckers telling us who we are. Because based on our actions, we ain't none of that shit they talking, my nigga. We ain't none of that shit they talking. And I don't want to be a part of nothing that cursed me 2,000 years ago. As good as my mother was, homie. As good as our ancestors was as slaves. We ain't none of that shit they talking. And I don't want to be a part of nothing that cursed me 2,000 years ago.
See, so he don't want to be a part of nothing that cursed him. But regardless if you believe it or not, Charles and White, you're an Israelite. You're not going to get it, though, but you're an Israelite. We can't stop being what the Lord already ordained for us to be, okay? And he said he don't want to be something of a people that was cursed 2,000 years ago. You're still under curses, though, right? This is why Israel is cursed, right? This is why Israel is cursed, because you fail to realize why we curse, right? This is Jeremiah 17:1. The sin of Judah. Judah is the southern kingdom. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron, and with the point of a diamond it is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. Whilst their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. Verse 3, on my mountain in the field I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil. Who's the spoil? The 17 heathen nations. The heathen nations, the natural Gentiles. The Lord gave everything to the heathen because we sinned. We kept breaking the old covenant. We kept transgressing the Lord's covenant. So the Lord got fed up. So he gave our substance and all the treasures to the heathen, right? And thy high places for sin, right? Throughout all thy borders. And thou even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. This is why so many of our people, they don't know that they Israelites. This is why so many of our people, they don't know that they're the chosen seed. Our people don't know that they Israelites. They don't know they're the chosen seed. Our people don't know these things because these curses came upon us. We transgressed and broke the old covenant, so the Lord put these curses upon us. So the Lord discontinued us from our heritage. Our people don't know that the Sabbath is according to the moon, and they're supposed to be keeping the high holy days and etc. Our people don't know that, right? It says, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my name and my anger, which shall burn forever. So that's why we're under the curses, Charleston White. One of the curses, you, regardless of how you feel, you're an Israelite. Now, it's up to you to accept it or not. And if you don't accept it, that's on you. But we're letting you know you are an Israelite. You're an ignorant one. You're one of those stiff necks that the scriptures mention. It says, according to the biblical narrative, ancient Israel, biblical narrative there, ancient Israel experienced periods of curses or severe divine disciplinary due to covenant unfaithfulness, disobeying God's laws, adapting to the idolatrous practices, or surrounding nations and committing social injustice led to these consequences. And there you go. Due to us breaking the old covenant, these curses came upon us as a people. So, Charleston White, you're not going to get it.
As good.
You're never going to get it. Okay? But regardless of how you feel, you are an Israelite. Now, you might not. You could be. I believe he is. He probably just a stiff-necked one, which he's going to be destroyed pretty soon. But these videos that you're creating is leading yourself. You marked already. You're an unbeliever, man. You know, he's the one that said that the mark of the beast is a cell phone some years back going off. So, hey, man, that's why we're under the curses. We swore oath to the Heavenly Father to keep his commands and follow everything that he commanded of us, and we didn't do it. We sinned. We transgressed. We committed idolatry. We started following and mimicking the way of the heathen. So the Lord gave us to the heathen. The heathen became the head, and we became the tail. But notice in the scriptures it said that we would be the head, and they would be the tail. But due to us breaking the old covenant, breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments, we became the tail, and they became the head. We were brought low, and the heathen was brought up high. But the Lord is getting ready to flip all that around. The Lord getting ready to put us back on top, and the heathen nations are going to be at the bottom. That's prophecies that are coming, man. So, hey, hopefully, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honors and glories and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Akakwadash. Peace, blessings, salutations to the whole for the elect, and shalom to you, sincere brothers that are scattered abroad, pushing forth this word in truth and sincerity. Double honors to the elders of the elect of the house of David. And I'm the brother Mashiach Razakah from Prophets of Good Works camp of Las Vegas, Nevada. And hopefully this was edifying. On to the next one I say, shalom.